Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Well, it looks like the Fed has done what we thought they would do, and gold fell. We'll explore that here. The outlook kind of disappoints. And here breaking, Trump says Fed Chief Powell let us down by not clearly signaling more rate cuts. And of course, where does that lead us? We shall see. So let's take and explore this and see what's going on with gold and silver during this time. All right, so this comes to us from CNBC. Gold prices fell on Wednesday after the U.S. Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the first time since 2008, as markets priced in the move and a lack of dovish outlook failed to cheer investors, which is quite interesting. I was not expecting that. I figured that gold, silver would stay the same or maybe even raise up a little bit. But the markets they didn't perform as well either. Financial markets had widely expected the quarter percentage point rate cut, which lowered the U.S. Central Bank's benchmark overnight lending rate to a target range of 2.0% to 2.25%. The Fed said it will continue to monitor how incoming information will affect the economy, adding that it will act as an appropriate to sustain a record-long U.S. economic expansion. U.S. gold futures for October settled down 0.4% at $1,431.80 an ounce. The market was looking for a dovish cut and did not get it. And language in statement did not strongly indicate forthcoming cuts, even though the door is open, said Tai Wong, head of the base and precious metal derivatives trading at BMO. Expectations for an interest rate cut by the Fed and other leading central banks, which would cut the opportunity cost of holding money-yielding gold, have put the metal on track for a 0.6% gain for July. Aside from the FOMC meeting, there remain a number of ongoing risk events to provide price direction to bullion, namely the increasing likelihood of a no-deal Brexit and a lack of progress between the U.S. and China in trade negotiation, MKS PAMP said in a note. Yeah, we haven't really talked about Brexit in a while, but now with Boris Johnson at the helm as Prime Minister, he was the one that's kind of championed this thing almost from inception for the Brexit deal situation, and so we shall see how it plays out. But more likely, as a hardliner, the likelihood to get out without any deal is stronger now than would be with someone else who may get there who would water it down so much. But I think that once it does happen, if it does happen, the clean break or not, people will get used to it and hopefully be able to settle in and think markets will become stabilized again. There's a lot of unknowns out there. The USMCA has not been ratified yet by the legislative bodies in the three nations. China and U.S. Are in trade negotiations, but nothing is coming out of that and probably won't for quite some time. And there's just a lot of unknowns here. But I think this goes to show you, especially when they're talking about the statements that I mentioned above here, that when you think about it, I think in some ways there's a lot more weighed upon the statements from the Fed chair than the actions themselves. And so it'll be interesting to see. Going back towards China and trade, U.S. President Donald Trump warned China against waiting out his presidency before finalizing a trade deal, saying the outcome could be no agreement or harsher one if he wins re-election in November 2020. So far, because of the fact bond yields have been falling and the technical structure has been bullish, traders have been happy to pick gold at the dips, said Fawad Razakzada, market analyst with Forex.com. Among other precious metals, silver fell 0.9% to $16.43 an ounce, and platinum jumped 0.9% to $873.85 an ounce, both on track for a second straight month of gains. Palladium rose 0.7% to $1,537 an ounce. So again, I think it's interesting, this statement talking about how, things were baked in, and but it was the statements, the dovish outlook, the interpretation thereof. Psychology plays a huge part, and you've heard me talk about that for sure. Taking a look at the precious metal prices, a good buying opportunity, especially for gold here, as it's falling $18.90. Still, its drop is not as big as silver's. 1.32% drop here as of the recording of this video here. And it's July 31st, 2019 here. And silver is dropped 1.84%. So it took the biggest loss, a 30-cent drop there. But regardless, it's staying above the $16 level for now. We'll see how things play out in the week. We have I think the jobs numbers comes out Friday. So we shall see what happens there. Platinum fell $7, 0.81%, and palladium and rhodium made some moves. Palladium is up $5 with a 0.33% gain in its battle against platinum. I kind of see these metals at war with each other since they kind of serve nearly the same purpose with regards to their use as catalysts, and the industry and tooling to be able to take platinum in will make good sense considering it costs a lot less than palladium. And these metals could come into parity at war with each other in time. The spread between palladium and gold is now much larger than it was before with such a drop there. But look at rhodium. Rhodium is up $25 to $3,610. Don't know what that's about. That's a whole different animal there with rhodium. It's kind of out of the spectrum. It does have some uses, obviously, as I believe, as a catalyst as well, in tandem with these other platinum group metals. But other than that, it's used in jewelry, and it's very rare. And I think because of its rarity, in many cases, that may have became part of the reason why possibly it kind of lost favor. People forgot about it, and it went down to under $1,000 an ounce back when I bought my one and only single ounce of rhodium. Interesting metal indeed. But these other metals, especially gold and silver here, are reacting now to what's going on in these markets, especially with what the Fed has said and done. And so now we'll see. The fact that, we're kind of a wait and see. My feeling is this. Now, I understand why Trump is saying, hey, they should have signaled more rate cuts. Well, I don't know. This is where I might disagree with the president. I know why he's doing it, because he wants a good economy for his reelection. And he's gaining that the Fed's, dovish policies, cutting back these interest rates, are going to serve well to keep the economy going. But what's going to happen if you keep lowering rates every quarter? And if you keep doing that, well, you're going to run out of room, just like they did before. It went down to zero. The only way to go below zero is negative. And so if things do happen, they don't have any room. They should have left the rates alone, in my opinion. They shouldn't have lowered them this time. Jerome Powell said in a statement it was a sort of in advance of a possibility of a slowing economy, sort of a precursor, a defense against it. But it's usually they're reactionary. This time they were proactive in trying to do it to save it off, and I believe it may have been a bit premature myself. I'd say just leave the rates where they're at. And of course he left it open to the possibility that they will be lowered again later. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be quite an interesting couple of months here as we get into election season. And because I think the politics will play out, obviously not just domestically, but also around the world, geopolitics, what's going to happen with threats from Iran, North Korea, and trade talks with China, and China and Russia, by the way. Will they continue to accumulate gold in the pace that they have been, considering what the prices have been doing? We shall see. I talked about that before, how them accumulating gold, I think, is having an effect on the price. And I theorize that perhaps that is one of the major reasons why the prices have gone up in recent months, because they've been accumulating for quite steadily for the past 6 months. Record numbers is pretty amazing. And of course, as that continues, well, they're going to, it's going to make it more scarce for the rest of us to accumulate, which is why it's good for us individuals to accumulate gold as well as silver, I believe, to hedge yourself and to become your own reserve bank, your own national bank there. So that's kind of the way I see it. Be your own reserve bank and continue to press on with gold and silver. And you know what? Even platinum. I think platinum is still a good deal right now. Anytime I think it's under gold, I believe, because usually, I mean, I know it's been quite a while. This is kind of the new normal. It may not catch up with gold, but I do believe platinum is undervalued somewhat, and I believe palladium is overvalued somewhat. And we'll see what happens. And there it is. So post your thoughts below. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.